Hello everyone, welcome to another lecture of the series Gender Studies. In our previous lecture, we have studied various theories of social development. In this video, we will cover another important theory of social development, which is basically Erikson's psychosocial theory of social development. Let's start this lecture now. First of all, crux of this theory. Erikson was one of the few theorists to look at development across the entire course of the lifespan. He was also one of the first to view the aging process itself as part of human development. So keep in mind that this theory is about the social development of gender. Erikson's theory suggests that people pass through 8 distinctive developmental stages as they grow and change through life. This theory considers the impact of X factors, parents, and society on personality development from childhood to adulthood. So, the crux of this theory is that every person must pass through a series of 8 interrelated stages over the entire life cycle. Now, we will study these 8 stages one by one. First stage is trust versus mistrust. Trust versus mistrust is the first stage in Erikson's theory of psychosocial development. This stage begins at birth, continues to approximately 18 months of age. During this stage, the infant is uncertain about the world in which they live and looks towards their primary caregiver for stability and consistency of care. If the care the infant receives is consistent, predictable, and reliable, they will develop a sense of trust which will carry with them to other relationships, and they will be able to feel secure even when threatened. If these needs are not consistently met, mistrust, suspicion, and anxiety may develop. If the care has been inconsistent, unpredictable, and unreliable, then the infant may develop a sense of mistrust, suspicion, and anxiety. In this situation, the infant will not have confidence in the world around them or in their abilities to influence events. So, in the first stage, the major emphasis is on the mother and father's nurturing ability and care for a child, especially in terms of visual contact and touch. Second stage is autonomy versus shame and or doubt. As toddlers ages 1 to 3 years begin to explore their world, they learn that they can control their actions and act on their environment to get results. They began to show clear preferences for certain elements of the environment, such as food, toys, and clothing. A toddler's main task is to resolve the issue of autonomy versus shame and doubt by working to establish independence. This is the me do it stage. For example, we might observe a budding sense of autonomy in a 2-year-old child who wants to choose her clothes and dress herself. Although her outfits might not be appropriate for the situation, her input in such basic decisions has an effect on her sense of independence. If denied the opportunity to act on her environment, she may begin to doubt her abilities, which could lead to low self esteem and feelings of shame. Third stage is initiative versus guilt. Once children reach the preschool age, that is between 3 to 6 years, they are capable of initiating activities and asserting control over their world through social interactions and play. According to Erikson, preschool children must resolve the task of initiative versus guilt By learning to plan and achieve goals while interacting with others, preschool children can master this task. Initiative, a sense of ambition and responsibility, occurs when parents allow a child to explore within limits and then support the child's choice. These children will develop self confidence and feel a sense of purpose. Those who are unsuccessful at this stage with their initiative misfiring or stifled by over controlling parents may develop feelings of guilt. This stage is often called as latency. Infant is capable of learning, creating, and accomplishing numerous new skills and knowledge. Fourth stage is industry versus inferiority. During the elementary school stage, that is age 6 to 12, children face the task of industry versus inferiority. Children begin to compare themselves with their peers to see how they measure up. They either develop a sense of pride and accomplishment in their schoolwork, sports, social activities, and family life, or they feel inferior and inadequate because they feel that they don't measure up. If children do not learn to get along with others or have negative experience at home or with peers, an inferiority complex might develop into adolescence and adulthood. Identity versus role confusion. The fifth stage of Erikson's theory of psychosocial development is identity versus role confusion, and it occurs during adolescence from about 12 to 18 years. During this stage, adolescents search for a sense of self and personal identity through an intense exploration of personal values, beliefs, and goals. During adolescence, the transition from childhood to adulthood is most important. Children are becoming more independent and begin to look at the future in terms of career, relationships, families, housing, etc. The individual wants to belong to a society and fit in. This is a major stage of development where the child has to learn the roles he will occupy as an adult. It is during this stage that the adolescent will re examine his identity and try to find out exactly who he or she is. Erikson suggests that two identities are involved, the sexual and the occupational. Erikson claims that the adolescent may feel uncomfortable about their body for a while until they can adapt and grow into the changes. Success in this stage will lead to the virtue of fidelity. Fidelity involves being able to commit oneself to others on the basis of accepting others even when there may be ideological differences. During this period, they explore possibilities and begin to form their own identity based upon the outcome of their expectations. Failure to establish a sense of identity within society can lead to role confusion. Role confusion involves the individual not being sure about themselves or their place in society. In response to role confusion or identity crisis, an adolescent may begin to experiment with different lifestyles, for example, work, education, or political activities. Also, pressuring someone into an identity can result in rebellion in the form of establishing a negative identity, and in addition to this feeling of unhappiness. Intimacy versus isolation. Intimacy versus isolation is the sixth stage of Erikson's theory of psychosocial development. This stage takes place during young adulthood between the ages of approximately 18 to 40 years. During this stage, the major conflict centers on forming intimate, loving relationships with other people. During this stage, we began to share ourselves more intimately with others. We explore relationships leading towards longer term commitments with someone other than a family member. Successful completion of this stage can result in happy relationships and a sense of commitment, safety, and care within a relationship. Avoiding intimacy, fearing commitment, and relationships can lead to isolation, loneliness, and sometimes depression. Success in this stage will lead to the virtue of love. Generativity versus stagnation. This is the seventh of 8 stages of Erikson's theory of psychosocial development. This stage takes place during middle adulthood between the age of 40 to 65 years. We give back the society through raising our children, being productive at work, and becoming involved in community activities and organizations. Through generativity, we develop a sense of being a part of the bigger picture. Success leads to feelings of usefulness and accomplishment, while failure results in shallow involvement in the world. By failing to find a way to contribute, we become stagnant and feel unproductive. These individuals may feel disconnected or uninvolved with their community and with society as a whole. Success in this stage will lead to the virtue of care. Ego, integrity versus despair. Ego, integrity versus despair is the eighth and final stage of Erikson's stage theory of psychosocial development. This stage begins at approximately age 65 and ends at death. It is during this time that we contemplate our accomplishments and can develop integrity if we see ourselves as leading a successful life. Individuals who reflect on their life and regret not achieving their goals will experience feelings of bitterness and despair. As we grow older, 65 plus years, and become senior citizens, we tend to slow down our productivity and explore life as a retired person. Erikson believed if we see our lives as unproductive, feel guilt about our past, or feel that we did not accomplish our life goals, we become dissatisfied with life and develop despair, often leading to depression and hopelessness. Success in this stage will lead to the virtue of wisdom. Wisdom enables a person to look back on their life with a sense of closure, of completeness, and also accept death without fear. Wise people are not characterized by a continuous state of ego integrity, but they experience both ego integrity and despair. Thus, late life is characterized by both integrity and despair as alternating states that need to be balanced. So, these are basically 8 different stages through which everyone passes during his or her life. All the 8 stages play their role in overall social development of a person. So, this was Erikson's psychosocial theory of development. This was all from today's lecture. The lectures on gender studies will be continued in coming videos. Thanks for watching this video. Like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to press the bell icon for more videos. Goodbye.